Hello, and today we'll continue with Kingsguard. This is Ramos' route. The grand cathedral came into view. It towered over the surrounding builds and its bells silky bones. It wasn't as impressive as the one in Havana, but it was equally as prestigious. It sported beautiful wooden carved doors, hundreds of stained glass windows, and sprawling spires. The masses entered and left through the building, and apostles outside preached their word to any who passed by. Fresh vegetables and fruits, all hand-picked this morning. Taste one for yourself and see why it's better than those rotting, stinking lumps that the others try to swindle you. A single voice easily pierced through all the noise and attracted your attention. A lone woman worked a stall nearly half empty of the produce that she sold. Think we might have found our gal. You sure? All other voices I can hear are men. She's the only woman selling something right here. How can you tell? I can barely hear anything. I'm a beastman. Ramos continued on ahead, and so that answer was sufficient enough. Thank you very much. Need any milk or eggs? Go see my husband down on Lowery Street. The stall was just as busy as the middle of the streets. It was swarming with people picking out the fruits and vegetables and handing the woman the right change. Ramos squeezed his way inside and had to duck to avoid hitting his head on the awning. Once the other customers around noticed there was an enormous beastman to the sides of them, they gave him a wide berth. Who do we have here? The woman bent out from within the stall to get a closer look at the giant in front of her. She seemed to be the only person actively wanting to get closer, and her face showed no signs of fear. Well, aren't you a tall one? Don't see many your size around here. She glanced down at Ramos's paunch and naively smiled. And I see that your mom must have made sure you cleaned your plate. Ramos made a sound between an annoyed grunt and a small chuckle, though you couldn't tell if he thought it was funny or not. As she approached, her eyes slid down to you, and a hand went to her chin to observe. Though suppose you could have got a bit more to eat. Here, take an apple. Going to need all the food you can get to grow. The woman reached for a bright red fruit, rubbed it a little on her skirt, then tossed it your way. It slipped in your palms like butter a few times before you managed to get a firm hold of it. You stared at it like it was some unknown object, unsure whether or not to eat it. Go on, it's on me. Your rumbling gut seemed to agree with her as well. The first bite sent juices running down your chin, and a sweet, delicate flavor filled your mouth. There was no denying that this town's apples really were the best. So then, what can I do for you? What can I do you for? Need some cabbages and carrots for a stew? Maybe some blackberries for a pie. Of course, if you're looking for something more hearty, might suggest some potatoes. Goes great with some butter, and if feeling a little fancy, a slab of beef on the side. My husband is a butcher, and he can serve you up a nice piece of meat. As tempting as that all sounds, we're both on other business. Well, I'm just a little old farmer. Don't do nothing else but grow and sell crops. Unless, if you're here looking for money, I'll have you know I pay my dues. The woman looked ready to chuck another apple, though this time it didn't look like it was going to be just a friendly toss. We're not here for a shakedown. I take it you're Renee? No, I am. We were sent here by Declan. We're in need of supplies and some horses as well. Really now? Well, sure then I'm selling. He also said for us to mention Talon, for what I hear the two of you are good friends. Maybe. Anyway, what kind of deal can you make for us? We're going to be journeying to Farhawan, so we need some supplies. Preferably dried meats, fruits, other foods that will last a while on the road. We're even willing to pay for other goods like flint and clothes if you have any to spare. The race, huh? Well, I'm a bit busy at the moment to come up with all this, if you can't tell already. Thank you, and tell all your friends about Renee's produce. In between talking with Ramos, Renee kept busy with her work, focusing on selling to customers that were brave enough to step to Ramos' side to purchase her produce. Mind talking to me again when I'm done? Shouldn't be but maybe a couple of hours. We're in a bit of a hurry, and I'm in the middle of a sale. Can't expect me to just close up so for one customer now, can you? You likely won't have a shop in a few months with this war on the horizon. War? I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're just going to have to wait until I'm done. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that. Same thing, I suppose I don't really have to sell you anything. No. We'll wait. Right, Ramos? Sorry about that, we're just a little eager to get out of town. Kinda need to leave before tomorrow, but we can check back in later once you are finished. Come on, Ramos, there's no point in starting something here. The crowd behind Ramos stumbled out the way as he stormed away from the stall. Sorry about that, he sometimes has a bit of a short fuse. All muscles and no brains, huh? Well, he can puff his chest all he wants. All muscles and no brains, huh? Well, he can puff his chest out all he wants. He don't scare me. We're just a bit on edge. Please don't put this against us. He's just doing this to look out for me. Anyway, thank you for your time. We'll stop by again later. Oh, and thank you for the apple. It really was delicious. Hold on. Actually, I think I have an idea to make things go a bit faster. Humor me for a bit, and I might be able to help you with your little trip. Renee inched you closer with her finger and whispered into your ears. So then, if you does think about how it would benefit us, alright, hey Ramos. So if we do this then, it seems like a good no, but there's no way in hell we are doing that. Good afternoon, folks, from here on afar. Have you come to taste the best produce in all the land? Well, then you have come to the right place. Ever bite into an apple you bought from the market and found a worm, you won't find any bugs crawling around our fruit. If the last potato you buy begin to soften and rot within just a week, I guarantee they'll last for at least 3 weeks longer. When you buy from Renee, you're getting the highest quality produce that you can't find anywhere else. We just look and listen. But why just look and listen to what eating our amazing fruits and vegetables have done to these fine gentlemen? All eyes peeled away from the passionate grocer to focus on the main attraction of this food stand show. He waved at the crowd from atop an overturned box. With how high you were able to see all the way across the street, and in turn others saw you and posed out of curiosity. Ramos, on the other hand, remained perfectly still, perhaps out of stage fright, or maybe it was because his box was creaking a little too loudly under his weight. Renee seemed to think it was sturdy enough, but you knew it wouldn't be able to hold firm for long. With a twinkle in her eye and a later grin, she presented the two of you like soul animals to the gathering crowd of spectators. Want to grow big and strong like a beastman? Then maybe you should be adding my vegetables to your everyday meals. Good taste and good for you. It's no secret that good health all starts with what you eat. But why take my word for it? Just ask this fella right here how he managed to grow to such a size. Despite begrudgingly agreeing to this, Ramos kept his lips tight. A wave of murmurs began to rise in the crowd, and you eyed Ramos, hoping he would speak up and say his lines. He's kind of scary looking. I think I recognize him from somewhere. Wasn't he in some Coliseum fights? Is he supposed to say something here? Renee was forcing her smug grin, the sides of her lips twisting as she tried to maintain composure. Ramos simply stood there, though, with his arms crossed. No need to be shy. Perhaps you should speak a little louder, as our crowd didn't quite hear you. Remember our deal. But this for me. Do this for me. Don't screw this up, and I'll get you everything you need for your trip. Ramos just say it. I used to be a scrawny boy, about ye tall, barely able to lift a barrel of hay. Then I started eating Renee's vegetables. Now look at me, 1 year later, and I have muscles on my muscles. Ramos rose his voice above the crowd, but he didn't sound very enthusiastic about it. And the thing? Ramos flexed for the crowd above the box, moving around in various poses to show off his impressive physique. His muscles rippled and bulged as the crowd was awestruck, or perhaps frightened. Would you look at those bulging biceps, those thick thighs, that chiseled chest? Well, he might just be a beastman, but even some of you women out there can't deny the charm of a well-muscled man. And for you gentlemen out there, I know that you are feeling a little jealous. But fear not, eat my vegetables, and I can assure that you will grow just as big and strong as any beastman. Of course, maybe muscles aren't your thing. Perhaps you want luscious, shiny hair, smooth skin, and dancing looks. Well, my vegetables are so good for you that after a month, you'll start getting stares coming your way. Why just look at this handsome fellow and hear what he has to say. The crowd turned their head away from Ramos and Renee and were now looking at you. What's wrong, kid? Cat got your tongue. He did his part. You gotta do yours. I got what I was supposed to say. Well, then make something up. Just make sure it's good. The longer the crowd stared, the more nervous you became. This should have been simple. Just repeat the lines she gave you, and that was it. Your father was always good at giving speeches. He would talk with such iron resolve that those listening would easily become swept up in his words and pass. But you weren't your father. You had to think of something quick, though. My face used to be... When it came out of your mouth could only be described as chaotic nonsense, as though you were possessed by some kind of demon and babbling away like a crazy man. While even a baby had more coherent rambling. Out of the corner of your eyes, Ramos gave you the most dumbfounded stare. Renee just put a palm to her face and shook her head and say, so this was all because I had her vegetables. That's why you should buy Renee's vegetables too, because they're good for you. The silence of the crowd was a testament to your tremendous failure. If these people actually knew who you were, they certainly wouldn't approve of you being king. After hearing such a weak follow-up to Ramos's performance, what he means to say is that eating my vegetables will make you look good. The crowd parted as quickly as it gathered. There was no point in staying and watching this wreck any further. Quite frankly, you were glad they were leaving and saving you from an even more embarrassing fate of being tossed tomatoes at. I gotta try this again. I'm gonna stop it. Okay, my order used to be more foul than a skunk's behind. My order used to be more foul than a skunk's behind. The disgusted look of others as they would catch a whiff of me, while even the flies dropped dead. Never rose water nor soap could expel such a smell. He beckoned someone from the audience to close and they timidly moved forward. How did I smell, sir? The man took another step and breathed in deeply. Why, I don't smell anything at all. Yes, exactly that. But can you say that for sure about your neighbor, your loved one, yourself? The man quickly gave his arm a sniff, and brought his head back in a gasp. You saw several other people in the crowd do the same, as well as some inch away from some particular individuals. After eating Renee's vegetables, I no longer smelled like a drunkard and horse shit. She saved my life from utter embarrassment. The crowd uproared in a frenzy, all madly rushing forward with coin in hand to buy Renee's produce. Get out of my way. No, you move it. You don't know how much I need this right now. Someone help. Oh my, this worked out even better than I hoped. I guess that's my cue. No pushing or shoving, I have plenty to go around. The quake of their unified steps nearly knocked you down from your box, but Ramos steadied you with his hand. Thanks. Not bad, kid. Thought you were gonna screw it up, but you actually pulled through. I'm not as great as a speaker as my father was, but I do have royal blood in my veins. I can probably attribute it to that. Still, look at those guys fighting over vegetables like the world's going to end. With the size of the crowd, she looked like she would have been overwhelmed but she handled it with grace, speed, and efficiency. 7 potatoes that will be 5 copper. Hey, you there. No drilling on the cabbages. There was a second that Renee's hands weren't full, exchanging coin for produce. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Make sure to tell all your friends about Renee's produce. I'll be here all week. I'm glad that we were able to help her out. Yeah, well, she had better keep her end of the bargain. That's how I make a fool of myself like that. Let's see. So carry the 2 and add this. 2 gold, 26 silver, and 3 copper. Mine was a haul. The crowd had finally dispersed, and there wasn't a single piece of fruit or vegetable left in Renee's inventory. All that was left was a few scraps of cabbage resting at the bottom of the crates. I don't think I have ever sold out on my produce that fast. Why, I don't think I have ever sold all of it in one day. All those other vendors have got to be seething right now. If I could see the look on their faces. Glad we could help. Oh, you did more than help. Thank you so much for that. Now time to pack up and head on home. Hold on, we helped you with your little fruit stand. Now I hope you haven't forgotten about our agreement. Oh, trust me, I haven't forgotten. But right here is never the place to speak on such matters. Let me load all my stuff into my wagon and we can take a ride down to my house. We'll talk more there. We really don't have time for this. And I don't have anything to sell you here. Now you're just going to have to wait until I get all packed up. Renee moved onwards and started to load her crates onto a nearby wagon, all the while humming some familiar sounding tune that you loved as a child. She was high in spirits, though. You could see the steam blowing out of Ramos's nose. Seriously tested my patience, woman. Despite his obvious unrest and temper at the situation, he began to help out loading Renee's merchandise onto the cart at a far faster pace. Well, aren't you a helpful one? Thought you would just lean against a building and watch. The faster you get this all loaded, the faster we can talk business. I ain't doing this for you. Well, I still appreciate it. I'm all tired and achy from serving those people. I'll help out as well. No, go sit down somewhere. What? Why? You're still recovering. I got this handled. I can at least help out a bit. We're almost done here. Actually, I think it's almost time for you to take your medicine. What? Ramos tossed you a bag that had a jar of that powdered swirl in it, and you nearly dropped it. The mere memory of the indescribable taste was enough to make your stomach lurch. Go find a well and take that. We'll be done by the time you get back. You can find one next to the church in the center of town. They have a ladle nearby you can use. Well, alright, I'm going. At the one on the streets, you found the well that Renee mentioned and pulled up some water. You scooped a bit of the powder out and put it into a ladle with water it dissolved in seconds. Well, here goes nothing. You walked back, clutching your stomach to find that everything was packed neatly and tightly into Renee's wagon. Ramos was securing everything down with rope, and Renee was tending to her horse. Alright, all set to go. Wait, well, Sally? There wasn't enough room in the front for Ramos to sit, so he had to stay in the back with the cargo while you got front row seats of the countryside. Renee's home was out in the fields, about a 10-minute ride from the town. While it was easily within walking distance, you were thankful that you could finally rest your feet. So tell me, what are two of you wanting to go to the races for? Well, what's it to you? Just curious is all. Didn't think anyone would want to go out there. You put to go out there. What with all them rumors of bandits and cannibals and dangerous beasts, it ain't like Farmstead is the only place that's dangerous. Well, of course, but you don't hear much in the way of such horrors out here, other than wolves attacking cows, chickens, and sheep. Even bandits learn to stay away, what with only military keeping watch. Talon would have to be the last person I knew who said they were gonna take a trip around the world, and that was years ago. Where we are going isn't really any of your concern, Ramos. But you must know we have important business there, and that's all we can tell you. Oh, so some hush stuff. I got you. So I take it you've been there before then, a few times. Seems like more than a few times. Everyone else I know would be washing their pants in the midst of having to travel there, and you don't look a lick scared. You got quiet confidence about you, like you call it home. And you don't hear many people around here calling the race Farmstead. Not very talkative, are you? Well, I can at least tell that you aren't from around here, the both of you. How do you figure? I deal with all sorts of folks, so I can tell. The two of you are cut from a different branch than the rest of us. You talk like one of the nobles, got an air of uppityness about you. There's a way I talk really give it away. The way you talk, walk, hold your head, yeah, you seem like the type with deep pockets. You better not be thinking that we suddenly have a lot of money and try to charge us differently. We got basically nothing on us. Well, I could tell that from the start, walking up to me all desperate like. And you. Heck, I could tell you were a dangerous one from the moment I saw your face. You've seen some things, been some places. Got scars and calluses to prove it. Your eyes aren't so innocent like a child. Pretty observant for a vegetable seller. Gotta be. I deal with all kinds of people and have to know who they are to know what they want. My granddad was a shrew, and was as true as they come, and taught me everything I know. which is why you saw us as an opportunity to sell your produce. People buy into any word so long as you say the right things. I figured you'd be willing to scratch my back if I scratched yours. And look how that turned out. Don't got a single fruit or vegetable left to sell. So that we got taken advantage of. I like to say that I simply put your assets to good use. Besides, I think you might be surprised at what I can do for you. Ah, here we are. The road ahead led up to a picturesque house nestled in a prairie. You counted at least a dozen horses galloping in the acres of rolling hills, all surrounded by a wooden fence. I can see that you are doing well for yourself. My family and the local lord go back years. All started one night when my great-great-grandfather risked his life to protect this land from bandits. As a reward for his bravery, he granted us this land to work with and do as we please. What we grow here, we can sell with minimal taxation. As you travel closer to the farmstead, you had better look of the horses. A cream-colored Ramos thoroughbred and a brown and black spotted Yasin trotter caught your eye. They almost looked as though they were racing against each other through the fields. I don't know much about horses except what I've seen in books, but even I can tell that they certainly look very well raised. Aye, there they are. You see that black one way out there? He had to squint, but off in the distance was a black horse trotting its way forth. Within seconds it managed to overtake both of the horses before it was forced to quickly slow down before it crashed to the fence. That's my pride and joy. Fastest horse you can find this side of the Iron Hide. The Lord gave me that one when I turned 12, raised it since it was little. Quite a feisty one, isn't it? I would admit that it took a while to train it, but it can get you from here to the capital in just 3 days. Of course, it isn't for sale. Some noble from the capital had his eye on it, but I had to tell him no several times that he can't be ridden by anyone else yet. I got plenty others, though, that will work just fine for you, provided you have the coin. And seeing as how we helped you, I certainly hope we'll be getting a deal. I haven't forgotten. Renee pulled the cart right up to a sappy barn and hopped off. Why don't the two of you head on inside and make yourselves at home? I could take it from here. Are you sure we can help? You mean having me help? You're not going to be lifting anything. I can at least help out with the light stuff if you're worried so much. Well, I'm certainly not one to turn down some help if you're offering, but you ain't getting any more of a discount for it. If that's the case, they will just beat you inside. As Ramos hopped off, you could hear the creaking of the wagon wheels as the back load significantly lightened. It might even have been your imagination, but you could have sworn that even the horses looked a bit relieved. Man, that ride was bumpy. You should think about investing in some pillows, either that or get some better wheels. My apologies, it's not often that I give others a ride in the back of my wagon. Boy, it was kind of, before we continue, I think Ramos is a little rude at times. Some things are better not be said. Some things, even if it's true, is better if he didn't say it. He just kind of just blunt and just tell people anything that's on his mind. I do have some respect for that. He's the type of guy who doesn't hold back or call on anybody, but sometimes I think it's best, if you don't say certain stuff, for the sake of being polite, even if you're right. God, I think I might have a kick in my back. Gonna feel this all night. You got anything to drink inside? Then he shouldn't mind if I take a bottle or two. You can tag it on our bill. Come on, kid, let's go. I need a rest and a drink. I'm sorry about his behavior. He really doesn't have any manners. Manners? Huh, I wouldn't spend much from a man like him. No doubt he strained his voice just trying to say thank you. But it don't bother me in the slightest. Just thinking for the good of himself like the rest of us. Still, the least he could have done is help out, seeing that you gave us a ride. Well, if you want, I could always charge you, you know? That is, I'm always joking. Oh, now, why don't you head on in and keep an eye on that one before he breaks something in there? I'll be done before you know it. Alright, thank you for the ride. You leaped off the cart and moved towards the house as Renee finished unpacking. Everything about the home reminded you of Greta's place. The wooden floors that creaked under your steps, the furniture with indents in its cushions from use, and down to the overall homely feel of it all. It was warm and humble. You could just imagine laying down in front of a warm fire after a long day of work and just relaxing. It was the kind of home you always wish you could have been. In the other room, you heard cupboards being opened, and said likely Ramos rummaging about the place. Not even a minute, he's already making a mess of this place. You heeded Renee's words and went to check on the brute, hoping he didn't tear apart the home already. There's gotta be something good around here. Ramos moved all around the room, checking every single cupboard and drawer. You're making a mess of the place. Wouldn't need to if the booze wasn't so horrified. He picked up a bottle of liquid, opened it, and smelled it. Then, with a satisfying grunt, he tossed it over his shoulder. Hey, we caught it just in the nick of time. Seriously, do you really have to get something to drink? Didn't get the chance in town. We'll be leaving tonight. Don't know how many days we'll be on the road without booze, so this is gonna be the night I get to drink. Suppose this hell to do. Ramos turned around to face you with a dark glass bottle already at his lips. The sound of gulps and the bubbling of liquid leaving the bottle went on for at least a minute before he brought the drink down with a satisfying that hit the spot. You didn't even taste it. You just let it flow down your throat into your gut like a chimney chute. This ain't some fine wine that you sip daily. This ain't some fine wine that you sip daily at a party. This is booze. Ramos took another swig, only to make a disgusted face. And terrible stuff at that. It tastes like watered down piss. It's clear they have some pocket change that thought they would have had better drinks than this swell. For all that work tearing apart their kitchen, I have thought you would have been a bit more grateful you got anything at all. Besides, if it's that bad, why are you still drinking it? I already opened the bottle and I'm paying for it. Might as well finish it up. You better not get drunk then and pass out, because I'm not going to be able to wake you up. Lay off. I need this right now. I shouldn't have to remind you that you were the one that wanted us to leave as early as possible, right? Don't blame me then if those Abercrombie wolfmen come and kidnap me while you're racing away. You worry too much. It'll take more than just 1 or 2 bottles of this watered down booze to get me tipsy. I see you've already managed to find my husband's stash. Renee took a quick look in the kitchen and rose an eyebrow, and found a few other things while you were at it. Yeah, and it wasn't even worth the effort. I'm so sorry. I know that you told. Don't worry about it. I did say to make yourselves at home. Anyway, you sure can drink. Bottle looks nearly empty from here. I said I'm paying for it already. Relax, I know. Man, you reminded me more and more of my husband by the minute. You have my condolences then for marrying a man that reminds you of me. Huh, you got that right. Even starting to get a bit of a gut like you too. Oh, this ain't fat. This is purely muscle. Ramos gave his gut a slap and another burp escaped his lips. Whatever you say to help you sleep at night, big boy. Now then, since you've all made yourselves a home and have settled in, why don't we get down to business? Renee brought the two of you to her table. Oh, this almost looks like one word here. And the three of you discussed what you needed for the trip ahead. Without much experience in traveling, though, you couldn't contribute much to simply sat as the two of them talked it over. Ramos listed everything that the two of you needed: food, supplies, and horses, and Renee got busy calculating all the costs in her head. She had quite the knack for arithmetic. The numbers went in one car. The numbers went in one ear. It's almost like car more than an ear, like the E. The E almost look like a C here. The numbers went in one ear and out the other as he blurted out the going rate for each item. It was 2 months even for Ramos as he counted on his fingers in the struggle to keep up. There was a chance that the two of you were being taken advantage of. Maybe some kind of hidden costs were being slipped in between words, but Ramos was quite diligent in catching them and correcting her. Even if numbers weren't his strong suit, he could tell when things weren't going fairly for himself. Ramos tapped his foot on the ground irritability. I think it's irritably. And he tapped his fingers on the table. His bottle of ale sat empty on the table, and you could already tell that he was looking a little loopy. Renee merely smiled as though everything was right with the world as she finished up the last bit of calculations. You, on the other hand, had to shake yourself awake after almost falling asleep. Alright, now that we got all your necessities worked out, it should come to 4 silver and 7 copper. And with the horses, what? I'm getting the feeling that we should be looking elsewhere for horses. I think you'll find that mine are of top quality breed with impressive stamina. Why, you'll feel as though you're riding on the wind. And how much is that gonna cost us for the superior steeds? Should I start hacking off my other arm and leg now to pay? I got you quite the fair price for those supplies. Anyone in town would have charged you twice as much. Besides, money shouldn't be too much of an issue for you, seeing how much you are carrying. What are you talking about? Well, you have quite the bag of corn at your side, far more than enough to carry the trip there and back. What? Ramos patted his body down to ensure that the bag of coin was still there. At the counter inside, he looked at the woman suspiciously. What? You look at me as though I was just stolen from you. I've never once opened this bag to you. I'm curious as to how you would even guess that we have a lot of money, which we don't, of course. Please, you think I don't know my way around the corn? Been dealing with money so often, the sound of it is like a second language to me. You can't lie about the amount of corn you had, even if it was in your shoe. The amount of each corn as it jingles, and the size and heft of the bag at your side. I couldn't make a guess at how much you're carrying with just a few clues. Can you really do that? How much do you think we got? Jiggle the bag once more for me. Ramos's eyes got shrewd, but he obeyed. The muffled sound of coin filled the room, and Renee simply closed her eyes to concentrate. About, you mean 11 silver pieces and 5 gold. I think it's 11 silver. About 11 silver pieces and 5 gold. How? Told you money speaks to me and I speak to it. Ramos, how much is inside? Ramos, 10 silver pieces and 10 silver pieces and 2 copper. What? Grant I missed it by that much? Guess my skills must be getting rusty. You really are something, aren't you? I don't like to flaunt my abilities, but I did learn from the best, though the grandfather did. The grandfather would be furious to find me being off the mark by that much. Well, either way, it barely puts a dent in your pockets, and as I said, any other place would charge you twice as much. And that's almost half we have. We only came to you because we were told that you would lend us a hand. And what I'm offering is far below that going rate. But seeing how you helped me out with my stand, I suppose I can take a bit more off. How does a silver and 3 copper off? Still twisting our arms here. You dragged us all the way out here, and now we don't have any other choice but to buy from you. We're planning on leaving by tomorrow, so even if we wanted to go into the town to see what others would charge us, we couldn't. Alright, fine, a silver and 7 copper off. Only 3 silver for all this, but that is the most I will do. Throw in that terrible ale in the meal tonight for the both of us, and you'll have a deal. Deal. Renee put out her hands and Ramos engulfed hers as they shook. You expected him to crush it, but she brought it back with only a slight shake. Well, no hard feelings then. We'll see when we get to the horses. You'll have to give me a moment to round them all up. They're still out in the field. You have to give me a moment to round them all up. They're still out in the field. My husband's usually home by now to help out, but he's probably out at the pub again drinking. I suppose you have your work cut out for you. If you're willing to help out, I'll think about bringing down the price for a horse, but only by a bit. They tend to get a bit restless at night, so an extra set of hands will be helpful. Very well. Caden, right here. We'll be right back. Hey, I can help with the horses as well. You look like you were about ready to pass out at a table, so go lay down in that chair there and we'll be back. Why do you think I'll get in the way of something? Yes. With your back still healing, you'll only end up hurting yourself some more. I'm not as useless as you seem to think I am, you know. Perhaps not. Either way, you're not needed. And seeing how early we are going to leave, it would be better for you to get rest now, since you need it more than I do. You moved on over to a comfortable looking chair and slouched down into it with your arms crossed. Why does he always feel the need to treat me like a child? I'll have to show him that I'm more than capable of looking after myself, that I don't need him to decide what is always best for me like my father did. I made a promise to myself. I have to walk my own path. I have to stand my own 2 feet. Hey kid, get up. Huh? Still feeling groggy, you rubbed your eyes and opened your mouth for a large and long yawn. When did what did I tell you? He'd be passed out like a lag, sleeping like a little baby. Quite adorable. Reminds me of our son when he was younger. You're still back at Ramos, Renee, and a third man in the room who you could only guess might be her husband. He must have slipped in while you were dozing off, and by the looks of things, they all were now acquainted with one another. They were all acquainted with one another except for you. Anyway, we didn't want to wake you since you were sleeping so soundly. So I suppose you're probably hungry right about now. Your stomach roared as you caught a whiff of a delightful scent in the air. From the kitchen, the smell of chicken and spices wafted in, and you could feel your mouth filling with drool. Yeah, thought so. They barely had anything to eat today. I've barely had anything to eat today. Well then, you're in for a treat. Husband baked us some Husband baked us one of my favorites, chicken pot pie for dinner. I was wondering what smelled so good and tasted even better, seeing as you all are going on a long journey to such a dangerous place, thought I'd whip up something a little special. Husband's a much better cook than I thought. Husband's a better cook than I thought. His bartering skills could use a little work. Husband's a much better cook than I, though. His bartering. Husband's a better cook than I, though his bartering skills could use a little work. I'll have you know, I made quite the haul today. Oh, please, I know you can't resist giving out food to feed the kittens around back. Well, they're starving and everything. I can't just leave them. And that's money being wasted. That's money being washed down the river. You remember what happened last year, don't you? Yeah, I suppose if they keep away the rats. Well then, why don't you get on up and join us by the table? After a quick but delicious dinner, Renee and her husband gathered together all of the things you would need for the trip, and Ramos reluctantly gave up the horn. With all your travel preparations taken care of and bellies full, it was time to get some proper rest for the coming journey. While Renee offered up her child's old room for the two of you to sleep in, Ramos declined but urged you to take it. He even turned down the chair that you rested in, stating that he would much rather sleep in some hay instead than be indebted to a merchant. It certainly would have been nice to finally sleep in a bed all to yourself once again, and one without the queasy swaying like aboard a ship. But despite how appealing it was, you also declined and followed Renee out and around back to a russet barn. Well, this is it. Piles of hay filled every corner of the room, and a gentle but chilly breeze swept in through the cracks of the walls. It certainly wasn't much better than sleeping outdoors, but you did hear that peasants made beds of hay, so it must have been more comfortable than sleeping on the ground in sand. More comfortable than sleeping on the ground in sand. Grammatical. There's a lot of grammar mistakes in this. Looks good enough to me. You boys need anything else? I think we'll be fine. Alright, well, here's all your supplies. Renee handed you the hefty bag, but Ramos was quick to take it from her first. He made a quick check through, ensuring that everything was in place. Then, with a satisfying grunt, he handed the bag back to you. He walked over into the largest pile of hay, and sat down, claiming it as his own. I think he means to say thank you for all that you've done. You and him must have quite a history to put up with that. Why, you're almost like a married couple yourselves. What? Don't joke with the kid like that. He doesn't know if you're serious or not. I can see that. Nobles really are quite starry-eyed. Hey. Still, it's not often you find beastmen and human traveling together. I'm only his bodyguard. Bodyguard, huh? Well, I think I recall you saying you didn't have much money. We really don't. Well, then, I'm not sure who's the lucky one of you, because if he ain't looking after you for money, then he must care quite a lot about you. Well, a friend asked me to take care of him. That's all you need to know. A friend, huh? What do you owe him or something? I'd say he owes me now. Now, enough of your questions. We have to sleep and you're keeping us awake. Yeah, I'll keep out of your hair and stop with my meddling. Well then, I'll see you in the morning. I'll be up bright and early to get your horse ready for you. You have a good night, Renee. And really, thank you for everything that you have done for us. Is something the matter? Oh, sorry. You just reminded me of my son a bit. Went off to join the knights in the castle, and I haven't heard from him since. been wanting to head there myself, see what was wrong and why he stopped sending letters, but they say the roads are closed off and that they are denying entry into the capital. Renee? Of course I know what happened there. The whole attack and everything. Keeps me up every night worrying whether he's alright. Suppose I'm a bit concerned about you heading off into the race. We have Ramos and Watts over me. I have Ramos and Watts over me. And with this, I can defend myself. Okay, so, apparently, I guess her son is part of the royal guard in the castle. You sold off your blade and she wiped away a single tear. You're right, not my place to stop you, of course. Just an old mother worrying for nothing. Here, Renee thrusted a bag in your arms. It jingled and as you peered inside, you found a coin that you had just spent for the supplies. Are you sure? Would you like me to take it back? Take it, Caden. I'm going to be smacking my head against the wall tonight for going against my merchant's instincts, but I don't exactly need the money. That kind of money to me is beggar's change. I can make that in a day. Seeing as where you're going, you'll need all the help you can get, though I'm keeping the money for the horse. Those animals don't come cheap. I understand, thank you. Of course, there's a little something I want you to do for me. Forget it, Caden. Give it back to her. You're free to go to sleep, you know. Have to stay awake to watch over our stuff. Don't want you pulling fast ones with us. Honestly, I run a business here. Now, I may be a slight merchant at times, but I'm certainly no thief. To me, they're one and the same. It's a wonder you got any friends at all with your attitude. So count yourself lucky he's even with you. Yeah, I'll count my blessings. Really, do feel sorry for you. Traveling sits a dangerous place for a man like him. He proved to be a competent bodyguard, to say the least. Suppose as long as he keeps you safe, that's really what matters. So what is it you want me to do? Return back safely. And don't do anything too dangerous, you hear? The race is not a gentle place, and for someone with a kind soul like yours, I fear it will eat you up. I will, I promise. Alright, well then, you're sure you don't want to sleep in the bed? Doubt you'll get another opportunity out on the road. I'm good. Alright, well, good night. Good night. You jingled the bag a few more times and smiled. See, she's not as bad as you were making her out to be. You really are starry-eyed. You know that? Starry-eyed, I guess. Don't you start calling me that. Anyway, so when are we leaving? In a couple of hours. I'm still exhausted from hauling your ass for white bread, so I need to make like Sleeping Beauty and get some must-need set-eye. Do you want me to keep watch then in case the wolfmen show up? Do what you want, though I doubt you'd be able to stay awake for long. Besides, with us out here, it will be a bit harder for them to find us. That scout said that they could find me by scent. Do you really think we'll be alright out here? If they do find us, they'll have me to handle it. Yeah, I'm recording this at about 7 or 8 in the morning. There's a lot of birds chirping around here. So that's kind of distracted me, with the reading. A lot of birds chirping and singing. If they do find us, they'll have me to handle it. They're pretty stealthy, What if they take me while you sleep? We beastmen are pretty good at waking up at the slightest hint of danger. Yet when I shook you like a madman yesterday, you didn't stir in the slightest. I wasn't in danger. Look, when and if they get here, I'll take care of it. Now I'm tired, so keep your questions until the morrow. A plump pile of hay just a few feet from Ramos lay ready for you to plop your entire body down into. It crunches under your weight, and offered plenty of cushioning equal to that of your bed back home. But despite how comfortable it felt, the dry grass managed to seep into your clothes and irritate your skin. If that wasn't bad enough, the chilly air of the night seeped in through the old barn and occasionally blew away the hay that you covered over yourself to keep away the cold. Hey Ramos, what did I just say about talking to me? Go to sleep. I can't. It's cold and the hay is itchy and uncomfortable. If you're so damn cold, then why don't you ask Renee for a blanket? You know what? Scratch that. She might just charge you for it. Yeah, I can already see myself getting a rash in the morning. Don't know how you can sleep like this. I got thicker skin than you. To me, this is about as soft as a baby kitten. It's a baby kitten. I got thicker skin than you. To me, this is about as soft as a baby kitten. Maybe I should have taken her up on that offer. Don't know why you didn't. It wouldn't be fair to just leave you out here now, would it? You honestly care? Well, yeah, we've been through so much together already. I kind of feel bad. Ramos started to pat down the hay next to you and beckon you over. This is going to be the last time you got it. I need my space when I sleep. Are you sure? I'm about to change my mind. You know, I got dogs out here barking. In addition to the birds chirping. As you crawl into the crevice of hay that Ramos laid out for you, you expected him to turn his back to you like the time in Greta's home. Instead, you felt him turn around and a hand draped over you, pushed you back against his chest. Your head went down and rested on his arm like a pillow, and his breath warmed the nape of your neck. He shifted around and you felt his bones poke and grind into you a few times as he settled into a more comfortable position. You stifled a gulp. But despite how intimate this felt to you, nothing else was said, not even a single good night as he passed out like a night. His noise rumbled through your body, but luckily he didn't keep you any more awake. For the third night in a row, you curled up next to Ramos. And once more you drifted off to sleep, swathed in his heat and listening to the comforting sounds of his beating heart. This is the end of the line for this route. For this update, actually. Will Ramos and your journey go as smoothly as you hoped? Will you reach Farmstead and procure an army for the upcoming war? You will have to wait to find out. Next update to release will be Ramos Chapter 8. If you like our work, you can support us on Patreon or Itch.io. Join the Discord community and check out the frequently asked questions here. Until next time, to be continued. Alright, so this is all there is for Ramos right now. Or at least what's public. So I already looked at the patron, the patron for the game, and there's still a lot more to go in Ramos's route. So I already watched the patron content for Ramos. Everything that goes after this. So the creator, it's been almost a few years now since he last did an update. And I think it's been about 3 years since he really updated anything for Ramos. As far as like the public, there's still some more content for Ramos on Patreon, but as far as like public, I think it's been like about 3 years now. And the most recent update from 2023 was like for, I think, Leandros. So Yeah, it's been a while since any new content for Ramos has been published. So if you want to continue with Ramos, you'll have to become a patron. So now that we're up to date with everything that's public for Ramos, my assessment on both him and Caton, basically, to Caton, Ramos is a rude and crude person who is, just don't have any manners for other people. This is true. And, especially people who are helping you out. You supposed to be grateful. Say thank you, ma'am, and, So, Caton is right about that when it comes to Ramos. Because, the two ladies who helped them out didn't have to do any of that. Now, to Ramos, Caton is a spoiled and stubborn person. He is right. Caton is a spoiled and stubborn person. Every time Ramos tells him to do something, even if it was good, he wants to debate it and go about, not wanting to do something, or he thinks he can do it by his own. Because he's been a pretty stubborn kid, like wandering off to the Coliseum and Leandros has to search for him. So that's a big part of his character. So at the end there, Ramos lets Caton, sleep on him, basically, like his warmth. Ramos lets Caton sleep on him, so they are getting close gradually. It certainly hasn't grown to having affection for one another, but they're certainly getting used to each other slowly anyway. Slowly getting used to each other. Ramos has his complaints about Caton, and Caton has his complaints about Ramos. Both of them are valid about each other. So they still got a long mission. They got to go to Farmstead to procure an army to help with liberating Havana, the capital, from the assassins. And plus while they're doing that, they gotta watch out for these wolves from this village who are trying to get Caton. It's not like they're trying to do anything bad to Caton, but they are trying to get him to safety, or at least they ought to be believed. Anyway, so they got to watch out for them. Alright, so that's all there is for Ramos for now. I'm not going to do Casero right now. I think a little later on in the year, maybe later this spring or in the summer, I'll start with Casero, but I really wanted to do Ramos right now because he's the one that interests me the most. And I think eventually, after Casero, we'll get to Leandros. Now, like I said, it's been a while since there's been any updates. And it's been almost 2 years since there's been an update for Kingsguard, and Ramos hasn't gotten any more updates since 2022, as far as the public is concerned, public version. So it might be a while till another update comes out. So if it's a character that I haven't done yet, if a new update comes out and it's a character other than Ramos, I won't do it. But in the next episode, the next update is about Ramos. If it continues Ramos's route, then I'll cover it. But other than that, that's all I'm gonna be doing for Kingsguard for the time being. So that's all for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.